Chapter 21 Pep Talk, November 2002. JJ left us for a couple of weeks on the 9th. She'd be back for a Nomads party on the 13th. After she left, the task force assessed her inaugural weekend. Slats especially felt it was a success. He was relieved to know all of his wrangling looked to be worth it. Slats was also relieved to have Rudy removed from the picture. I was too. But the trouble that Rudy had brought weighed more heavily on Slats. After all, Rudy was Slats' responsibility, not mine. As far as Slats was concerned, we were all his responsibility. I asked the task force if there was any way we could use Rudy's arrest to the case's immediate advantage. Slats' quick mind came up with the tack. He pointed out that so far, in spite of Smitty's love for us, it was Bad Bob who really put his ass on the line for the solo Nomads. We agreed. I said, I thought it was because both Smitty and Bad Bob wanted us to become prospects. I'm convinced they thought we were the best thing that they'd seen in ages. Only they took different approaches. I think Smitty thought that since we were bullhead guys, he'd keep us as his little secret. That hadn't worked. We'd moved on to Mesa, and there it became Bob's goal to fold us in tight with his guys, to use his pulpit as the Mesa P to vouch for us, and therefore make Mesa our de facto charter choice when the time came for us to drop the solo and add the Hells to our Angel moniker. And it is Hells, not Hells, the official story being that there is more than one Hell. It just depends on who you are and where you are. Even though Bad Bob hadn't yet expressed open interest in our patching over, I could feel that was where he was headed. I felt certain that between them, Smitty and Bad Bob were engaged in a quiet battle to win our hearts. Ah, to be loved. Since Bad Bob was already a bona fide president, Slats suggested I appeal to him for advice on running the club in Rudy's absence. Slats wanted me to go to him and say, "Hey Bob, you've been doing this for years. I'd really appreciate it, really be honored if you could help me out and tell me things I need to know about how to run the club. I mean, I'm lucky enough to know you guys. I figure I might as well use you as a resource if you don't mind." I thought it was a great idea. I called Bad Bob that day, told him the situation, and asked him when we might be able to get together. He suggested the 13th for breakfast at the 5 and Diner in Chandler. I told him that sounded great. We sat in a secluded corner booth. Our food came quickly, cheese omelets and hash browns for both of us, coffee for me, iced tea for him. After rehashing what had happened to Rudy, Bad Bob laid it down. "Listen, Burr, I'm an officer. I used to be a soldier, but now I'm a decision maker. Been one for years, and now you are too. It's an honor, let me tell you. You know me, you know us. We run the show. We keep the other local clubs in line and make sure we stay on top. Shit, we control this state, you know that. I know you know because you're sitting across from me right now asking for my advice. Well, here it is. Keep the club strong. Rally around your colors. Protect your club and your reputation. You're like a virgin on prom night, man. Your rep is all you got." I thought of Dale at that moment, of how I told her damn near the exact same thing. He continued. I listened. "Rudy, he fucked up. Simple as that. Took chances he shouldn't have. The shit he's in, it's dirty, you know. You know me, I like to party, but that shit, it goes nowhere. First things first. You gotta get to his place and clean it out. Those maggots around Apache Junction he was with, you don't want them beating you over there. It might take them a week or two to figure out where he went, so get on that. Second, you tell your boys not to worry. Rudy may be gone, but life goes on. You're the P now, and you have my support, and you can tell him I said that. You got the red and white on your side to the end." I told him I appreciated his backing and his advice. I asked him if he'd give my boys a pep talk in a couple of days, and he said that the next time we were all around in Mesa, he'd be honored to sit us all down. "But there's more," he said. "Now that you're a P, you gotta know Hoover better. The P up in Cave Creek, the guy who runs the RCB Tavern. Yeah, I remember Hoover. Good, I'm gonna call him and tell him to expect you. He's the guy. He's just like me, man. We got our fingers in everything." I told him that'd be great. Bad Bob called Hoover right then and vouched for us yet again. I was impressed. When he was done talking to Hoover, he said, "Burr, keep up the good work and you'll have free reign in Arizona. Just one thing, keep me informed. I need to know your business so I can keep everyone's head clear. I don't like getting blindsided with shit. Here, he meant be respectful. Keep kicking in those contributions. Don't step on anyone's toes. Don't take advantage and don't allow yourself to be taken advantage of. It made me feel great. He ate some more of his breakfast and finished his iced tea, slurping it loudly. Then he looked up at me. I gotta say this, just so I know I did. Rudy was cooking, right? Yeah. Pops told me like 3-4 ounces a night. Bad Bob sighed. He shifted in his seat and pushed his plate back a little. Then he launched into a full-blown lecture about how we couldn't pick that business up. He said the Angels had given it up because they gotten tired of shaking down users for money when money was the last thing they had. He said he knew he sounded like he was full of it since he was a user himself, but he insisted he was different. He wasn't a real down and out tweaker who lived for crank and crank alone. He said it was okay for us to dibble dabble here and there. He knew Pops occasionally took a rail, and he said we should go ahead and sell off Rudy's stash. But when that was over, then that was it. It was good advice. I appreciated getting it, and I enjoyed giving it. The whole time I stared into Bad Bob's eyes. They were serious and sad. Bad Bob cared for me. I was almost touched. Almost.